actually the last year. You think about it.
Oh, wow.
And that flight,
Need to get a longer belt, sounds like.
get that Fort Lauderdale flight back here, it was used a lot, especially by me, but.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman's November 5th business meeting. It also happens to be election day, so if you hadn't voted, you've still got time to go and vote. 1 hour to go. If you would mind, let us all stand for our pledge, led by Alderman Hooper. Please remain standing for our invocation. Father God, thank you for your continuous watch over us. Father, it is not lost on us that we were spared the recent disaster that was in our area. We also, Father, thankful that through your grace and mercy, we have been able to lend a helping hand to those our neighbors in need. Father, thank you for our city, the leadership, the many city families, and ask that you continue to provide grace, mercy, and your loving kindness to things that we do that pleases you. Father, as we're meeting tonight, our country is seeing the polling places close around the country for the next few hours. We're asking for your hand be upon our leaders and our nation, that we continue to honor you in our words and deed. Now we invite you into our meeting tonight, that you be glorified by our actions, and again, we thank you for life itself. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Madam Recorder, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Montgomery,
Here.
Vice Mayor Duncan,
Here.
Alderman Baker,
Here.
Alderman Cooper,
Here.
Alderman George,
Here.
Alderman Mays,
Here.
Alderman Phillips.
Here.
Thank you. We all have all 7 elected members here present tonight. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we have 3 recognitions on the agenda tonight. We'll begin with recognizing the first class of our Model City 101. I'll ask the mayor to come up here and join me, and I'll ask the class, if you all could, just kind of come stand right here in front of the boardroom. So as they're making their way up here, kind of a little story of how all this began. About 5 years ago, shortly after I became city manager, I really wanted to start what is called a City 101. Many cities across the country have done this for years, if not decades, and it's an opportunity to bring in citizens very similar to what we do with our fire academy, police academy, and get an idea of what we do on a daily basis. We've had great success with the citizen academies and police and fire. And I really felt like if we could open that door a little bit wider and begin to show more of what takes place on a day-to-day basis, then our citizens could become advocates for us in more ways than what they already are. Well, unfortunately, 6-7 months after becoming city manager, we have the pandemic. And the idea of starting the Model City 101 class kind of fell off, and quite honestly, with everything that was going on, we definitely put it on the back burner until this past spring. Had an opportunity to sit down with Adrian Batera, our communications director, and said, you know, this is something I really want us to do. I feel like, at least for the time being, we're in the clear. Before anything else happens, let's try to make this happen. And so Adrian took it from there, putting together 8 weeks of class for the 14 participants that are here today. The city departments, really no surprise to any of us here, they knocked it out of the park with their programs, the meals they would provide, the tours they would give, and I had an opportunity to attend a few, and definitely walked away with a tremendous amount of pride, not only in the city, but the employees that helped put this together. So we have a certificate for each of you all, and I am going to hand these to the mayor. And if you would, when I call your name, just step forward, and he will hand it to you. Charles Bliss. We'll do these together. Don and Patty Burton. Holly Fleming. Madison Green. Julie Hammonds. Chip and Angie Milliken. Thad Nada. Noto. Thank you. Austin Phillips. Steve Rummel. Jen Sokle bin Mitch. Did I get it? All right. Anna Walters. And we had one other, Sarah Williams. She was not able to be here tonight, I don't believe. And Anna, I think you have been selected to speak on behalf of the class, so I will. You can come right here to the microphone. We're glad that we finally got Anna out of her shell to speak to everyone.
So, first of all, I want to say Model City 101 was amazing, and it was great, right? Thank you very much to the BMA and to Chris McCart. And kudos to, where's Adrian, for her prowess in organization and communication. Oh, she's hiding? Okay. Anyway, one of the things that was amazing was that it was a great way to connect citizens with city government. And every one of the presentations, each of the sessions, the presenters were engaged, they were informative, and that made it fun and interesting for all of us. So Chris talked about the spirit of Kingsport. That really came through. And if that's about, putting the community before the self, that was what really spoke to me, and I think it spoke to others. So thank you very much, and I would highly encourage you to do it again. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Have a seat, or if you want to leave, you're welcome to do that. I now ask that Alderman Mays, along with Detective Kevin Ewing and our chief, as well as others, please come to the podium for recognition of the receipt of the Mark Vance Award to Detective Kevin Ewing with our police department. Alderman Mays?
May I move this
Sure.
just a little bit so that we can see this way? You guys join me here at the side. Thank you. Thank you, City Manager McCart, and thank you, Mayor Montgomery and the board. And on behalf of the BMA and the mayor, and especially the citizens of Kingsport, we would like to give a special recognition tonight. And if I may, I'll just read a few notes here. October last month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Branch House, located in Blountville, is host its annual Service and Protection Awards last month. Vice Mayor Duncan was there, and I was there present for the award. We had a wonderful crowd. A lot of dignitaries in the region was there, especially in law enforcement. And at this event, they presented the Mark Vance Award. Mark Vance was an officer for the city of Bristol. He was responding to a domestic violence call and was murdered in that incident. And so an award was presented in his name, in his honor, for his service of high standard, professionalism, strong dedication, and ending the cycle of domestic violence in Sullivan County. This year's recipient of Mark Vance Award is a distinguished detective, Kevin Ewing, our own Kingsport Police Department. Detective Ewing has been employed with the city of Kingsport for nearly 10 years. During this time with the department, Detective Ewing has proven himself to be dedicated, compassionate, and a champion for the victims of domestic violence and abuse. As an additional note, adding to the professionalism and dedication to our officers at the Kingsport Police Department, this is the second year in a row that Kingsport Police has received this award, which is outstanding. And this is a very distinguished award, and we're grateful for Detective Ewing and his work, and to be honored among his peers in law enforcement throughout Sullivan County and attorney generals, I think is outstanding, and he's a great representative for the city of Kingsport and Kingsport Police Department. So on behalf of the board and the mayor, I present this award to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Mays. Now I'm going to ask that Vice Mayor Duncan please make his way to the podium and ask that representatives from the City of Kingsport, Chad Austin, Harvey Page, within our fire department, Senior Captain Justin Waycaster, Captain Jerry Reed from our police department, Lieutenant Micah Johnson, and from our streets division, Eddie Spears and Randy Frazier. If you all please would make your way up to the podium and join the Vice Mayor, please.
You know, who would have thought just 2 months ago that we would be talking about rescuing victims, first responders for a hurricane, and it's just amazing that that we're up here even discussing this. But you know, certainly we were thrown into a situation that this area and this community and our region had never seen before. This is, there's a lot of names on here, and I'll read part of them, but I know that this is not near all the people that was involved in that. So I think Ann kind of summed it up there when she said community before self, and I think that is a really good way to sum this up as our response. Chad Austin and Harvey also said that a number of employees that wanted to help was long-lasting and heartwarming. So we could have sent many, many more people than actually went. But we'll talk about some of the water services, and then we'll move into fire and police. But in the just a few areas on the Cross Anchor area, established an emergency connection to the utility supply with approximately 50 gallons a minute to the Fall Branch area of water. And that helped provide service for 700 customers and sustaining approximately 200 customers right now. Employees that was involved in that was Scott Light, Cecil Holdway, Jordan Pierce, Leslie Jones, Silas Cargill. In Mountain City, we repaired a clarifier and sweeps as a water treatment plant, and employees on that was William Franklin and Michael Franklin and Dustin Boland. And in the Brownlow Utility District, the water maintenance crew worked to reestablish water service, which included one major line repair and 2 bridge crossings was involved in that. Employees for that was Brandon Arnold, Jonathan Kennedy, Leslie Jones, Tristan Stram, and Bradley Harmon, and Andy Williams. In Irwin Utilities, they took a tour of the wastewater treatment plant and areas and collection system where assistance was needed, especially in the bacteriological sampling, and assisted with lifting the water boils in that area. They also done backflow testing, and employees involved in that was Tanner Tribble and Jason Brooks. And in the Irwin Utilities, camera inspection and the line cleaning work was to locate and check the condition and cleaning of the sections of the sewer system. And this included 8 manholes. I would imagine those were not necessarily easy to find during that period of time. And cleaning approximately 2,500 feet of sewer mains in the Temple Hill Road. And this also involved pumping and hauling and cleaning one lift station. This area you will probably be kind of familiar with it because it was in the Unicoi Hospital. The employees that was involved in that was Jerry Goad, Travis Funk, and Nick Billinger, and Chris Castle and David Gillenwater. On the fire side, we received an email, and I think it was from Justin and Jerry Reed in this. And so it explained pretty much in detail as we read some of the rescue that they was people that would have drowned in that area. There is no doubt without the rescue that happened in that. We was battling water rising in the home and got the pets out and one of the victims and then went back and the water had already raised about a foot, I think, since then. And so both of the people got out safely. And then I think you moved on and even moved to an attic where people was in the attic. So, I mean, lives were saved. And I'll just kind of make one comment on this. Last August, and I know the new board members may not, we'll have to kind of get people kind of caught up on this. But through that, there was a grant for $353,000, and it was last August. Included in that was 6 disciplines, but one of them was swiftwater rescue. And so $28,500 was established for that. And y'all have just kind of completed training on that, if I'm not mistaken, and got that done in the last year, which come in handy in this. And to be refreshed on that, you already have been trained, but not everybody. Obviously, we've got so many new people. But it was still, the timeliness of that one was amazing. And it's a great way to show how grant money is used in our city. And so for water rescue. And with that, that was not all. It was fire suppression, incident management. And we deployed 73 employees that helped with that response for 2,130 hours that were related to this deployment. So that's something to be proud of. On the police side, we have 15 officers that combined with 300 man-hours and served all kinds of functions while they were over there, conducting traffic control points, intersection, providing street level patrol in the affected area, and we're also to assist the recovery efforts by providing deliveries to supplies in areas that was not easily accessible. This filters on down to even our landscaping department, who went to Washington County, and they filled up their generators with power so they could keep the emergency generators going and the response station. And then also we sent street sweepers and that spent some time in Elizabeth and on cleaning the muds from the street. So, you know, that's I think that is our city at its best, where we're helping on a regional to help our neighbors. And so I think we demonstrated that we're qualified and ready to do that. And it's good to be in a city where we do have first responders like you know, of all kinds. So we appreciate it so much. So thank you.
This is a portion of our meeting that we allow for public comment, and citizens may come to the podium and speak on any of the agenda items or any issue-related items at this time. When you come to the podium, please state your name, your address, and sign the register that's there, please. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. A total of 30 minutes is allowed for public comment. Anyone want to come? Thank you. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we'll move into appointments. You have 3 on your agenda for tonight for 3 different boards, I should say. The first is appointment to the Beverage Board. It is recommended to appoint Kevin Mitchell to the Beverage Board, fulfilling an unexpired term. We'd ask for your approval of this appointment, please.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
There's nothing to publish on this, Mr. Mayor. This board needs to
Okay.
vote on the recommendation.
Okay. Okay. Then all in favor of the, you want to take them all at one time?
I can if that's the desire of the board. We didn't discuss that last night. We're gonna do them all at once. All right, let me keep going here then.
Okay.
All right, so that was for the Beverage Board. This is for a consideration of appointments to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. First is to reappoint Alan Mead, reappoint Bob Gregotis, reappoint Tony Ponzio, and appoint Madison Tincher to fill an unexpired term, and appoint Stella Robinette to fill an unexpired term. And the last is for the Library Commission. It is recommended to reappoint Mickey Shaw and to appoint Mercedes Brown. So with that, Mayor, I'd ask for a motion and a second and approval for
Okay.
these appointments.
Okay, can I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
It's been, a motion been made by Alderman George. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor Duncan. Any questions?
Good group
Comments?
of people.
Pardon?
I said it's a good group of people, and I'm
Very good, very good.
happy
Thank
to
you.
have them on these committees.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
All right, we now have the approval of minutes, first from the work session on October 14th, 2024, and the business meeting on October 15th, 2024. I'd ask that you approve these minutes as submitted, please.
You have the minutes before you, and I'm sure you've read them by now. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion approval by Vice Mayor Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Baker. Any questions? Changes? None? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 7-0. Next item.
All right, we have no public hearings, so we'll move into business matters requiring final adoption. The first item is consideration of a budget ordinance to appropriate $13,703.42 from the U.S. DOJ Office of Justice Programs Fiscal 24 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Funding. This is approval of an ordinance. This comes to you on second and final reading. We'd ask that you approve the ordinance appropriating the funds, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the General Project Special Revenue Fund budget by appropriating grant funds received from the U.S. Department of Justice for the year ending June 30, 2025, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
You've heard reading of the ordinance. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
A motion approved by Alderman Mays. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion?
This is a 50% match, and we did have the funds ready to do that.
Any other comments? Okay. All in favor, roll call on this one. Madam Recorder, please call the roll.
Alderman Baker,
Yes.
Alderman Cooper,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Duncan,
Aye.
Alderman George,
Aye.
Alderman Mays,
Aye.
Alderman Phillips,
Aye.
Mayor Montgomery.
Aye. Ordinance passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of an ordinance to appropriate funds of a private monetary donation for the Kingsport Police Department K-9 program. As stated at our last meeting, this is yet another donation by Mr. Baggett. We appreciate this tremendously and ask that you approve this ordinance on second and final reading, please.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the General Projects Special Revenue Fund budget by appropriating donated funds for the year ending June 30, 2025, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
You've heard reading of the ordinance. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion for approval by Alderman Mays. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Any discussion?
Just like to say a big thank you for Mr. Baggett for supporting the K-9 program for Kingsport. It's really awesome that he would do that.
East Stewart does that consistently, over and over again. Okay, any other discussion? None. So, Madam Recorder, please call the roll.
Alderman Baker,
Aye.
Alderman Cooper,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Duncan,
Aye.
Alderman George,
Aye.
Alderman Mays,
Aye.
Alderman Phillips,
Aye.
Mayor Montgomery.
Aye. The motion passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a resolution to purchase one pumper truck with an Enforcer chassis utilizing Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. As we discussed last night, like many of our large pieces of equipment that we are buying, inflation has really kicked in. Very true on this one, 70% increase since the last time we bought a similar truck compared to this. You can see in the recommendation memo some additional information on this vehicle, as well as a picture of a similar one that we have. As with many of the vehicles of this magnitude, it's going to take a little bit of time to get here, looking at anywhere from 35 to 38 months once they've received the PO. So hopefully we'll see that occur sooner rather than later. Also, I placed at your seat a little bit of info on our fleet fund. This was brought up last night. Good information here. Appreciate John Morris putting that together. Very stable fund, a fund that I will tell you is the envy of many, many cities. Glad that we put this in place decades ago and continues to benefit us tremendously. With that, Mayor, I ask that you approve the resolution authorizing the purchase of this vehicle.
Thank you, and thank you for the extra information you provided for us tonight. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order to Siddons Martin Emergency Group utilizing Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement number 113021-OKC for one pumper truck with enforcer chassis for use by the Kingsport Fire Department.
You've heard a reading of the resolution. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion for approval by Alderman Phillips. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Duncan. Any discussion?
I think, Mayor, it might be worth to mention, as we discussed yesterday in our work session, a lot of folks would ask, and fair question, why does a fire truck cost $1 million now? So I just want to say that a lot of that is inflationary cost, a lot of that is market and demand for emergency equipment. But also, I want to emphasize, as we discussed yesterday, but for the sake of our public meeting here today, is it's not a bells and whistles, if you will, fire truck. It's not embellished at all. It's a functional truck. It meets the needs of the city, nothing more, nothing less. So that's the cost if we're going to buy and keep our equipment functional, keep the city responsible to the citizens in terms of public safety. It's what it costs to do. So it is a fair question to ask, why does a fire truck cost $1 million? But that's really why.
Yeah, 70% increase since 2021 is pretty hefty.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 7-0. Resolution is adopted, 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a resolution to approve and adopt the consultant selection policy for projects funded in whole or in part with funds provided by the Federal Highway Administration or the Tennessee Department of Transportation. You first approved this in August of 2016. It is now time to update that, and this is coming to us from Tennessee Department of Transportation. I'd ask that you approve the resolution adopting this policy for us to follow.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving and adopting the Tennessee Department of Transportation's consultant selection policy, designating the city manager as legally designated selection authority for the policy, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and all of the documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
You've heard a reading of the resolution. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion for approval by Alderman Baker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, like sign. Resolution is adopted, 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a resolution changing certain meeting dates for work session and business meetings of the board of mayor and aldermen annually. And typically this time of year, we will bring to you all a recommended calendar for the upcoming year. This is for 2025. You see the adjustments that we have recommended within the executive summary. Typically, this is trying to avoid holidays or training opportunities that are available to the board or to city staff that would prevent us from all being here. And so we ask that unless there's requested changes, that you approve the resolution adopting our meeting calendar for 2025. Mayor?
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution changing certain work sessions and business meetings of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in January, July, and September 2025 in accordance with Article 3, Section 7 of the Charter of the City of Kingsport, Tennessee.
You've heard a reading of the resolution. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion for approval by Alderman George. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Baker. Any discussion?
We need to pass this because I've already written this down in my next dictate timer for next year, and I did it in pen.
Okay, okay. Okay. Is it ready to take it?
That's gotta work now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna work now. I already wrote it down.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the resolution, say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a resolution ratifying the mayor's signature on a letter to apply for and receive a state water infrastructure grant for asset management. As you all know, earlier in this year, we put in place a contract consulting firm to help us go in and do a tremendous amount of mapping of various assets, primarily on the water end, throughout our city. Very valuable work, very much needed work. This grant will further aid that. Again, as I have stated to you all in the past, I greatly appreciate the work that is done annually by our city staff to identify grants. Earlier today, the mayor and I at the Kingsport Economic Development Board and stated that since January, we've brought in over $20 million in grants, donations, or special appropriations. I've been here since 1997. I don't know that I've ever seen a year where we've had that kind of success, all of which has aided a tremendous amount of capital projects that have resulted in not having to come back to this board and look for ways to fund that. So this is yet another opportunity for some grant funding, and appreciate the work being done by the utility group to get this in front of us. So Mayor, with that, we'll ask that you approve the resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving an application for a state water infrastructure grant, application for asset management, and ratifying the mayor's signature on a letter authorizing the same and authorizing receipt of the grant funds if awarded.
You've heard a reading of the resolution. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion for approval by Vice Mayor Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Mays. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor of the resolution, say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Resolution is adopted, 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, move into the consent agenda. You have 5 items on the agenda. I will read through those. If you'd like any of them pulled for further discussion or clarification, please let me know. First item is consideration of a resolution authorizing the purchase of mobile and portable Motorola radios utilizing Tennessee State Contract number 424. Second item is consideration of a resolution to renew agreements for mowing at various locations. Item 3, consideration of resolution for amendment number 1 to TDOT, agreement for resurfacing various roadways, and authorizing the mayor to sign all applicable documents. Item 4, consideration of a resolution to authorize the mayor to sign all documents necessary to accept a change order for software products from Central Square. And item 5 is consideration of a resolution approving the release of restrictive covenants and easements of record on tax parcels 21 through 26, Group D, Control Map 0460, and authorizing the mayor to sign all documents necessary and proper to effectuate the same. Mayor?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Attorney, please publish the resolutions.
No need to publish on the consent agenda.
Okay. Well, I have a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve all 5 as presented.
Okay, sir, a second to the motion.
Second.
Motion for approval by Vice Mayor Duncan, second by Alderman George. Any discussion? All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Oh, excuse me, roll call, excuse me, just a roll call vote, sorry. Madam Recorder, please take the roll.
Alderman Baker,
Aye to all items.
Alderman Cooper. Aye to all. Vice Mayor Duncan,
Aye to all.
Alderman George,
Aye to all.
Alderman Mays,
Aye to all.
Alderman Phillips,
Aye to all.
Mayor Montgomery.
Aye to all. Then the resolutions are adopted, 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, now move into the communications. You do have one item that needs to be spread across the minutes. That is a contract for emergency repair. It's brought to our attention of a sinkhole that was located in one of the detention ponds, one of the stormwater detention ponds located in Edinburgh neighborhood. As soon as we were made aware, we contacted the engineering firm. The price came in at $54,864, and that work is already underway, if not near completion. And so that just simply needs to be spread across the minutes for your knowledge. Two things that I have, many of y'all attended the State of the City address on Friday. Some of y'all stayed for the whole event. And if you did, you had an opportunity to hear Ryan McReynolds, who stepped in for me at the last minute and gave the presentation. I greatly appreciate Ryan doing that. He met me out at the car and jokingly said, here's how I see things kind of breaking down. There's a 30% chance you can't do this. There's a 30% chance I'm going to end up having to do this for you. And then there's a 30% chance that both of us are going to be fired at the end of the day. Some of that was accurate, but I greatly appreciate Ryan stepping up and doing that. Also, Adrian Batera put in a tremendous amount of hours putting the booklet that you see that you've seen that's out there, an amazing document that talks a lot about what we've been able to achieve as a city over the last year. I think when we first started doing this, that was like front and back page or something like that, and now we've got a full-blown document, and it's just a great testament to all the great things that are happening in Kingsport. So appreciate Adrian and her team that helped make that happen. Also, yesterday, had an opportunity to sit down with the Dean of the College of Dentistry for the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. He was in town along with several other folks, talking about the dental clinic and our goal that we have to make that a dental school and the efforts that are taking place to make that happen. You all also got to hear from Dean Tilichowski and the work that is being done there. Continues to be a very, very exciting project. We had a meeting yesterday afternoon and actually in the conference room at the clinic, and we're starting to have conversations about the need for dorms and the need that we could have 30, 40, 50 students here training, studying, and that's something that I think is a major milestone when you look back in 1999 and the whole Educate and Grow campaign and all that we were doing. I know we've always envisioned the opportunity to have something like this. This is a great first step with opening the clinic. 2029 is when they want to have full-time students here, and we want to continue to see the clinic, the school, and all of the partners involved with it grow. This is going to be a major, major training site for the University of Tennessee for everything east of Nashville. And it has an opportunity to serve the entire Appalachian region, but definitely first and foremost Tennesseans. As we know, there's a continuation of shortage of dentists across the state. So I appreciate y'all's support and continued involvement in this. I continue to believe that this is a major difference maker for our city in so many ways, but also greatly appreciate the tremendous amount of donations as well as state funding that we've been able to get for this very, very exciting project. Mayor, that's all
Is
I
that
got.
it? Okay, thank you. We'll start with Alderman Mays tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. One is I'd like to congratulate Dobbins Bennett on a fantastic win. And what a competitive game. Both teams just playing their heart out and DB made some big plays, so congratulate Coach Christian and all of his staff, and especially the players and Roll Tribe, right? So excited about that. I want to also congratulate and thank Ryan McReynolds for doing an outstanding job. That was a tough call, 10 minutes to go, and then you have to do the state of the city. So he did an outstanding job, well attended, very nice event for our city. I have gotten compliments from our citizens about our paving, and I know all the board members have, and past board and current board has supported that. But I just wanted to share that feedback. Citizens greatly appreciate the paving projects. And also I asked city manager's office for a list of all of our boards and committees that work and serve our city. And I've perused that list, and it is absolutely amazing at the number of people that volunteer their time and serve our city in very important boards, advisory councils, and it's amazing. It's just, I was awestruck by the number of citizens that just work very hard for our city in serving our city. So I just want to tip my hat to them and appreciate them very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Cooper.
Well, for the last 10 months, I've talked about Christmas in Kingsport 2024, and it's here.
I think it was 12 months before that.
Yes, exactly. But some of the lights and the decoration are already going up. The trees will be delivered the 21st and 22nd. Will go up sometime in the week, the beginning of Thanksgiving week. So anytime after about the 26th or 27th, we can start decorating our trees, and need to be decorated by the 4th of December. And you can visit the Christmas in Kingsport site to see all the programming has already been set for those 3 weekends before Christmas. And also Lamplight Theater in our own downtown is having Yuletide, a Christmas show. And if you haven't ever been to Lamplight, or if you haven't been to the Christmas show, you really need to go. I said, we're so fortunate to have a live theater in our downtown. So sometime during the Christmas season, when you're downtown looking at all the pretty lights, stop in at Lamplight and watch one of their shows. They're truly gifted individuals in our city that put on wonderful shows at Lamplight. The other thing, and I wasn't going to mention the election tonight, but I feel very led to say, as I was leaving before I came here, I was watching some of the results start coming in. And I heard someone last night say something that kind of struck me. It said that, whatever side you vote for, we've been led to believe that if our side doesn't win, that democracy as we see it's going to cease to exist. It's going to change, but it's not. America is bigger and better than one person. So whoever wins tomorrow, or if we know by tomorrow or next week, whenever, we're still going to get up and go to work. We're going to send our kids to schools. Not anything is going to change drastically. We're better and bigger than one or two individuals that they're not going to change who we are. So, as I hope that your candidate wins tonight. But if they don't, we're going to be fine. So everything's going to continue on fine. So I said and I'm so glad that after tonight, that commercials, the news, text messages, phone calls are going to stop for another 3.5 years.
Facebook will be back to pictures of grandchildren.
Yes, Facebook will be back to what it is, and you won't hear all the negativity. I just hate that our political system has gotten to be so negative, and we think that we need to build ourselves up by tearing someone else down. So that's not who we are, not what we're about. So, thank you.
Alderman George.
I do want to thank Chris for preparing the whole presentation for Ryan so that he could address the board and present good information. And I think a lot of us serve on different civic committee boards or civic committees that we will ask you to give you the opportunity to come and give the same presentation that Ryan gave, because
A funny story to that. Ryan, who's on the programs committee for Kiwanis, asked me to give the presentation to Kiwanis already. So,
already,
yeah.
see, we are all
So I
gonna
was-
allow
Set it up
you,
quick.
so we're gonna compare, you know, we do
Right.
have footage.
Yes.
We're gonna see who can do it better, so we'll
Put
know
you
for
side
next
by
year.
side on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, we can do
You
that.
won't be able to tell us apart if you do.
That's true. We'll both refer to you as quarters.
Don't want all that practice to go to waste.
Yeah.
Next year, we just need him to tape it, in case you
Yeah, I
have
know.
another
That's
episode, we can
Probably
watch
what we'll end up doing.
a video
Yeah.
of you.
It was very good information. I think it's always wonderful to be able to present that to the citizens. And I do appreciate Ryan stepping in and you preparing the data for him. Also, throughout your whole Model City 101, I have heard wonderful things about each of those classes. Several of the people today said, they can't believe that they had that opportunity without paying for it. I mean, it was really very valuable information, and I think that was a wonderful idea, and that I'm glad you did that. The presentation on the dental school last night was very good. I do think that we need to remind our citizens that it is available, that they do take TennCare, that it is open for children, as Betsy's talked about with Friends of Need. There are not a lot of dentists that take TennCare. There's not a lot of dentists that take children, and they're booking appointments so far in advance that, when I tell people about the clinic, most people are not aware of it yet, because, it hasn't been around long enough, and it is so vital for this whole region, and such a wonderful thing. And I know we are looking forward to continuing it and moving it along and up to have even more and more students. It's a great opportunity, not just for the level of education, for the students to practice here, but for our citizens that need dental care. So it was a good presentation. And I also want to mention that we did have really good presentations last night from Hope Haven, the Grace House, and Salvation Army. And the Grace House will be opening as a day center and shelter for the homeless. Their projected date right now is November 15th. But really good information on what each program does, what they have available, where people can go. It was very good information for me to know that no one is full. Everyone had beds available, and they're all working together to make sure that they can provide the people that are in misfortunate situations right now opportunities, not just shelter, but also a hand up. And so they each are providing different services based on the needs of the different individuals. And I know we have, being that my window to the world looks right outside here, and we have a lot of individuals that really are very compassionate toward our homeless, and they want to just drop off things, and it's not always the best idea to drop things off here, but we have these wonderful organizations that know the best way to reach out and help people, and to connect our citizens with the organizations so that we can provide the best care possible to help everyone in our city. I just was really impressed with everyone that spoke, and just want to keep encouraging people that want to donate. And we've had, so many people have talked about all the donations with the hurricane, but we do have so many individuals that constantly want to donate to our less fortunate. And to please find out which organization best fits your needs in donating, and donate to the organization so that they can best serve our citizens. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Alderman Baker.
All right, I'll add on to the comments about the dental school presentation yesterday. Impressed with the work that was going on, and I applaud the city staff and past BMAs for having the foresight to see something like that in Kingsport. Very encouraged to hear they take TennCare. I know there is a big need for that, and so I'm excited to see what can take place. I asked a question last night about the assumptions that we made for the dental school. Anytime you invest in something, you have a set of assumptions to say we think it's going to be successful, and that was, are we expecting dentists to come back to the area to help fill niches, and I think that's part of the strategy. And I'll just add to that, I think that healthcare should be treated just like economic development. I think with our population we have, to ensure that we have providers, not just dental, but other healthcare providers. So I look forward to having a discussion about that at some point in time. I'll echo Ryan did a really good job Friday at State of the City. Follow the script. There wasn't nothing I think that was he interjected that wasn't supposed to. I told him he needs to talk to Chris and just say you need to call in before you come back to work to make sure everything's still good. But good job, Ryan, on that. I will just add, we announced 2 sites for new elementary schools, and I'm yet to be convinced we need 2 new elementary schools, and that the locations of those, I'm not convinced yet that that's where they need to be placed. So I look forward to a discussion of that in the near future. I know that we have a joint work session again, I think, with the school system in January. I think that's correct. But I'd like to see us have a discussion before then, just to kind of get an idea of where we are. So, yeah, very, very impressed though with the items going on with the city, and look forward to seeing success. So,
Thank you. Alderman Phillips.
Ed, I'll just say, considering everything I was going to say has been said, and I'm supposed to pick up the girls' dinner at Chef's before they close at 8, I'm good.
Okay. Vice Mayor Duncan.
Just a couple items. The city manager mentioned KEDB meeting this morning, and also included in that, the monthly KEDB meeting is the Domtar. And they're coming to that each month and giving us an update of progress on how to mitigate the smell. And over the past month, it seems like that the odor's not gone, but it's less than what it certainly was at one time. So they're working hard to mitigate that. And so they gave some data this morning of some different experiments that some has worked, some has failed, but certainly feedback that I've got living downtown as the city manager. And some of the people at least in Richfield, I talked to a lady there today, and she said since the 1st of October, it was somewhat of a noticeable difference. So they're working on that. Yesterday, we've talked about grants today and tonight, and yesterday too, but the library did get a $2 million grant. And so that's something that the city manager touched upon about grant money, and $20 million this year. That is nothing just overlooked. And as we talked about, grant money being used for our first responders and Swift Water Rescue, which certainly saved lives. And so that is just a perfect model of how grant money is used. And then finally, I tell you, there was some pretty shady characters downtown Saturday, and there was a lot of them. And so the Halloween it's a huge success. And with kids everywhere, and just having a great time, and that has grown and grown and grown. And it's one of our bigger events to get people downtown. And so congratulations to everyone who's involved in that, the merchants, DKA, and just anyone that had a hand in that. Hats off to them, because it was an amazing day. That's it.
Thank you. Let me remind you all that a week from today is our strategic planning session that we'll have here on the 12th. And so we'll be sure to be here. Also, let me say thank you again to Ryan, and continue the work that you're doing, and thank you so much for that. We do have Veterans Day celebrations beginning, I think there's one this week on the 8th, and then Domtar. Then there's a ceremony on the 11th. So be sure that to attend those. I liked the presentations last night. They're very informational for us when people, they don't know what they don't know. And I'm glad that we were able to provide that so our citizens can know more about the homeless situation here in Kingsport, and that we're all are trying to work together. And so I can keep James from getting in trouble, I will say this meeting's adjourned.
Run, James.